Welcome to DragonLance Saga. Again, today is session 0 of Forget the Kender, a SAGA System role-playing game. Now, you all remember Dragonlance Fifth Age from when Dragonlance was basically broke. TSR decided that Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition was not selling very well. They're on the precipice of selling out to Wizards of the Coast. And so in order to revitalize the strength of 1st Edition Dragonlance, they decided to completely reimagine the game. They had Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman write Dragons of a Summer Flame, which meant that the gods are completely absent of this new world. And this is 33 years after that Chaos War. The gods of magic are completely gone. There is new magic that was discovered by Palin Majir and Goldmoon, mysticism and sorcery, respectively. And this whole system, instead of using dice, is based around the Fate deck. So this is new to everyone here. I've played it when it first came out, but it's been a long time. So this should be a little bit interesting. Let's get a little bit more interesting with the cast that we have today. Let's start from the very top next to me with Chris, and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, hi, my name is Chris. I'm the guy that's always annoying everyone with my comments on everything. My dad joke. But yeah, huge fan of the channel. And I got introduced with, from Dragonlance. Me and my buddy got the trilogy of books, and we thought it was 3 separate stories with the Larry Elmore. Right. So we read Spring Dawning. My buddy Shaffron, who's out there watching, we read Spring Dawning and had no idea what was going on. Like, this book doesn't make any sense. And then we finally realized that you have to read Autumn, Twilight first. Made a lot more sense.
That helps. All right.
Looking forward to Saga and looking forward to playing with you guys.
Awesome. Goldmoon?
Hello, I'm Goldmoon. Glad to be here.
Okay. Play a 3.
Hey, it's Sarah Tay. You can follow me on Twitch if you want to. I'll put my link somewhere. But I'm kind of new to D&D and Dragonlance, completely new to Dragonlance, to be completely honest. But I'm really excited to play with you guys. I'm excited to learn new things, and I'm excited just to play, man. I'm stoked.
Awesome.
Hello again, everybody. This is Kurt. I am returning again, unfortunately. I've been in the Dragonlance space since, 87 or so. Jeez. So a little bit of an old hat. My dad introduced it to me. It was my first campaign setting, and I've loved it ever since. So stoked to get to finally check out the Saga system, which I've never even touched.
Awesome. Derek.
Hi, my name's Derek. I've been reading and playing Dragonlance since the 90s. Love the series. Didn't like the movie so much, but been playing on games on the channel with Adam for a while now. And yeah, I just love games, miniature games, role-playing games, card games, whatever it is. I just like games. So yeah. I'm here to play a game.
Well, we're going to not really play so much as create characters for the first time. And much like Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Saga System, the choices are really left up to the role. You don't really have a lot of maneuverability when it comes to choosing after you've already been dealt. So I think for the first character, we'll start with one person and we'll see how that goes, and then we'll move on to everyone else. Do I have any volunteers for who wants to go first? All right.
I'll go.
All right. The first one to buzz in. So let me move over to the next screen so everyone else can see the board here. Okay, so this is a map of Ansalon in the 5th Age. Dragon overlords basically took over as the new gods of Krynn, ostensibly. But I'm going to deal you 12 cards in order to make your character. Okay, so making a character is it's going to take a number of different steps. First and foremost, you want to think about the type of character that you want to play and then compare it to the type of cards you have. And each of the individual cards has a number. That number is going to be the number of your stat. So for example, your agility, you're going to want to be, if you want to be a rogue, for example, you want that to be a little bit higher. If you want to be a mysticism or a cleric, basically, you're going to want your spirit to be higher. If you want to be a sorcerer, which is the mage version in this game, that's going to be reason. And of course, if you want to be a fighter, then your strength and endurance are you're going to want to be your highest numbers. But along with that are symbols, and the symbols really tell you how qualified you are in that field. So you may be an incredibly strong person, but not know how to swing a sword at all, depending on the symbol that you're going to be using. So we need to, you can actually see if you guys open up your character sheets, and I'll open up yours here, Sarah. So I don't know, does this show on the screen when I open it? No, it does not. You can see the symbol that is associated with the individual ability. So if you have an agility, which is the shield, of a 9, that is as high as you could possibly have, then you would have an A code for that. And that means that you can do virtually anything you want with it. So let me...
With a shield?
No, I'm sorry. So you're going to have... well, let me pull up my little notes here because I have the ability code notes.
Are you able to see my cards?
I can't unless you lay them on the table.
Oh. Am I able to play them and take them back just as an example card?
You can just lay them on the table and we can just walk through it if you want. That might be
All
the
of
best way. Yeah, that might be the best way to do it
Okay.
because you're going to have to go through them all anyway.
There's one.
So, wow, so that'd be amazing if you're going to be a fighter.
Oh, she's got a few.
Here's another one.
Maybe like line them up so that...
Oh, I can't see exactly where I'm placing them.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
Okay. I'm going to just toss them out there.
Just giving a quick shout out to the chat room. Duranth, thanks for joining live. Good to see you, Randy. Really appreciate you tuning in. Warghoul, what is up? First live. Good to see you. Comfy Lane Takabana. Did I say that right? Thanks for joining live.
Welcome.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.
Yeah.
This should be a pretty good time. Hey, Benjamin, thanks for joining live.
Wait, Tasselhoff's a 1?
Yep.
What's that mean?
Careless.
It's just
All
a
right,
low
I've got
number.
3 more.
Tasselhoff is a really good rogue, so you would think handler, so you'd think he'd be better than 1.
All right, last card.
And she really rolled the nuts, didn't she?
Wow. Okay. So thinking about what you might want to be, you would be probably a really great ranger type character. Your arrow is associated with your dexterity. And the way combat works is you choose the cards you play and you have to beat an unknown difficulty rating factor. And you add whatever ability number you have to whatever cards you play. So for example, if you wanted to shoot an arrow into someone's face, if you chose your 9 as your dexterity, you would use that 9 to hit and also for damage.
Okay, so I'm totally cool with being a ranger character. That sounds right up my alley.
Your agility is pretty good too. Let's look at...
Yeah, you can basically do anything you want that's not magic with this spread.
Okay, so could I be a rogue?
Yeah, I don't see why
Or
not.
would that not be a good choice?
It's totally up to you. I mean, if we had a whole party full of rogues, that's fine. I'll just design the adventure around it.
Are we all being rogues? Is everyone trying to be a rogue?
Is it a rogues gallery?
Well, can I be
Okay.
something that's a rogue something else? That would be kind of cool.
We walk steal from each other the whole time. That'd be funny.
It's like what the new D&D movie is all about rogues, isn't it?
That's right. That's right.
Is it?
I have a question,
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to be a bard,
Okay.
but I don't think that this spread out is gonna be good enough for that. Maybe it will. I
Well,
just
we
don't
always...
know.
Yeah,
I'm looking
there's not like classes. There's roles that you can sort of choose pre-created roles if you want, but there's not like actual classes to play. So really, you're just building it from the ground up of how you would want your bard to be and how good at what they would be. So, for example, if you wanted to be able to use magic and do a bunch of other stuff, like bards eventually can cast some spells, you would just want to make sure that you have something going into either your spirit or your reason that matches the symbol. So like a heart or a moon, for example. In your particular case, you would only have a 4 of heart.
Yeah, so let's avoid a bard.
And
We'll make a different guy.
Yeah.
Well, and also like isn't the number an average number for a normal human is a 5, right? Anything
Yeah.
above that's like really good. Anything below that's like starts to get weaker. Was the other thing? It was you can also discard some things. Like you could use a dragon in a place of something, even though that's a negative thing. I don't know exactly how the negative impacts gameplay, but those are other things you can think about when you're making your character.
Yeah, because we're not going through like the official steps because we're trying to cater a character to your tastes. I would not recommend, and we're starting with ability scores because normally you don't. I would not recommend using a dragon for any of your ability scores because that means the dragon is basically the rolling of a 1. It's like the mishap card. So if you have a dragon in any, you may have a 10 because the dragons go up to a 10 in their cards. If you put a 10 in your reason, the fact that it's a dragon means that you can't cast anything. You're just incredibly smart, but you're more like a Rain Man, for example.
Okay, so we're not using our cards to determine nature and demeanor and anything like that.
Oh, we are. I'm trying to give an overview of the different abilities and how to craft specific types of characters using the symbols in mind. If we want to start from the very beginning of just choosing some basics, maybe that would be the better way to start. It's kind of, up to you guys. But just looking at your numbers and looking at the symbols that you have a great sword, you've got a great arrow, you've got a really good perception.
All right.
A nice agility.
I think I want to be some type of fighter.
Okay.
I've never played a fighter character before, but I think that will be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone that's more of a jack of all trades with weapons than one specific, the P word. Proficiency.
Right.
If that's even an option. So where do I start? What is the first thing I need to do?
So in order to be able to use as many different fighting melee type weapons as possible, you're going to want a code of A, which means you have to use the sword icon card for the strength stat.
Okay.
Now to use any type of armor. Oh, sorry.
Ruthless and sadistic. That's the card I'm using.
Where is that? This one. Okay. So I'm going to move the ones that you've chosen to use down to the bottom. So you can populate the 9 and use an A code in your strength on your character sheet.
Oh.
Got it.
Awesome. I'm looking at the character sheet as well. Okay, so then the other part of being a fighter is being able to wear armor and such. So in order to wear any type of armor, you would have to have a code of A, which means you need the helmet icon in that. I don't see a helmet icon in your hand. So
She's
the next
got 4, cautious and resolute.
Oh,
Birkin log
right there. So the number's not that great, but it would mean that you could use any armor if you chose that. Now, if you didn't want to do that, for example, you can use a similar subcategory of physique, which strength and endurance are both under. And if you have another sword that's a higher number, which I don't see that you do, so it doesn't really matter. But that would give you a B.
I've got 3 9s, and I want to utilize them as what my character will be.
Right. So if you want to use a shield, using that 9 up in your agility would be probably the best. But that's only if you want to use a shield. If you want to use missile weapons. What's that?
I could do sword and shield.
Okay.
Sword and board's a classic.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but I think it would be fun to do.
Awesome. So go ahead and populate the 9 and A. Those are really high numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next
kind of drew the nuts.
Yeah. The next thing, if you want to do any missile weapon, be effective at that. So for missiles, you would, with a code of A, you can use any missile weapon. A code of B, you could use very heavy missile weapons. A C is very light, or medium. So that's basically like your bows and your crossbows. So it's, you don't have to be very specific for that, but you do want a higher number. So if you had,
Strangely, she has a 9 of arrows.
there you go. That's insane.
What
So you
can I
use
say? I'm a
any
gangster.
missile weapons and a shield and any sword. So
Yep.
let's talk about armor, because we gotta nail that thing down. You had the 4 of endurance right there. Let's see. What kind of armor are you looking to want to wear? Heavy armor like plate, or do you want to do something lighter?
Medium to light.
Okay, so then that would be a code of C. So then anything under the physical side of things. So you could use a shield, arrow, helmet, or sword for your endurance.
What was this I read about being able to drop down a category to raise the number of a card?
Okay, so you drop down 2 code categories to raise the number 1,
Mhm.
1 point up. So if you
So if
took,
she had a 4 of endurance, she could drop down to a C and get a 5
Yes.
endurance.
Okay.
and that means you can use very light, light, or medium. Oh wait, where is it? Very light, light, or medium armor. So yeah, you
Cool.
can. pretty much do
Medium is
whatever.
what I'm shooting for.
Yeah. So that'd be good. So 5 and a C. Let's move that down. Okay, now we want to look at the mental codes. In order to resist sorcery, you want your perception to be higher, and that's the orb, the moon. Not the sliver moon, but the full orb. If
Yeah,
you want to resist mysticism, you want a high presence, and so you want a crown.
Which you don't have, I don't think.
Hey,
I
ThinkPad,
see.
thanks for joining live.
I got a 7 orb though.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm. So I'd say
And that'd be good to be like a tank in order to resist magic with that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
I gotta look up names while we're doing
Move
this.
along here. Okay, so now, I mean, we just need to fill out the rest of this, the ability scores. So we still have reason, spirit, and presence. If I were you, I would save your dragons for like your status, your social status and stuff like that. And so we'll deal with that in a second. But yeah, you don't have any heart. Oh, you got a 4 of hearts. So I would put that in spirit if I were you.
Okay.
That gives you an A. Now, here's what that means is that you can actually use mystic spheres. So you could be like a fighter cleric, or you could be like a Solamnic Knight of the Rose or something like that, where you actually have a little bit of magic with you as well.
This almost looks perfect for like a Knight of the Sword.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah. And then what else? We've got
We have reason
presence and reason. Oh, you don't have very high numbers left.
no. So perfect for a Knight of the Sword.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see.
A little dig on Solamnics.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to use the 1 or the 2 of orbs on your reason, then you would have a B status code.
Okay.
But it's up to you.
Which would you
Now,
like
hold
to
on.
do?
Before you do, let's pause for 1 second, because I want everyone to keep in mind that when we're doing this, you also have to think in terms of what is your hand going to look like when you've created your character, right? So the
Right.
number of quests that you have dictate the size of the hand that you will always get. So your average adventurer has 4 to 6 quests, which means they have a hand of 4 cards. And your hand doubles for not just a representation of your level, but also your hit points. And so, having as large of a hand as possible is always really great. So strategy for this is players should use cards from the suit of dragons in this space in order to have as high of a number as possible so that you have as many cards in your hand as possible. Because that's what takes place of dice and everything.
Yeah.
So the dragon.
Yeah.
So maybe the 6. But again, 4 through 6 gives you a hand of 4 cards. So
Right.
if you just want to hedge and have your 6 be for like wealth or social status, for example,
Yeah.
it would mean you would be a gentry is what it's called, but it's basically right under aristocracy. So you'd be
Okay, yeah, I want to do that. We'll
and
use
that is
the
very
4.
Knight of the Rose or Knight of the Sword.
Mm-hmm.
We'll use the 4 on the what you just
On
said
the quests and reputation.
on the quest cards, yeah.
Yeah.
And then because you said 4 through 6 are about the same,
Right.
And then wealth, I would like to use the 6. 6, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so then for your hand, you can move that up to 4. Under quest reputation, move that to adventure on your character sheet. All right.
Got it.
So we've already done ability scores. What else? Ability codes we've got down. Race. Did you now human? This is like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, where they sort of push you to be a human because it's the catch-all class. It's the most populated, but there are other races that you could try to meet, but that means you have to meet the requirements for them.
Because I'm a knight, I'm
Mhm.
thinking a human
Okay.
anyways. That's just where my mind goes for
Yeah.
some reason.
So let's see. Your endurance is a C, and as a human, it has to be a B of a max, so that's fine. Because C is under a B. Your physical, let's see, what is that? A B is max for your present. Wait, that's perception. And you have an A. So you cannot have an A in perception as a human, so you could drop that down to a C and have an 8 instead of a 7.
That'd be a good idea.
Okay. Let's see.
And then advantages is you get to raise a physical or mental score by 1 point. And a disadvantage is you lower a mental or physical score by 1 point.
1 point. Yes, I read that.
So raise one and lower another. Oh, we didn't fill out your reason and presence yet, have you?
Raise 1.
Yeah.
Reason and presence are empty. Do we fill those out?
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
we should probably do that. You're kind of on low numbers now.
Right. So I want to avoid that red one because that looks sus.
Well, no, that's a good.
That's a good thing?
Yeah.
Even though it's red?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's like the highest number out of the 4 there.
And that would give you a C on anything in your mental for either reason or presence of an ability
Yeah.
code.
Okay, let's do, what are the difference between reason and presence again?
So reason is what you use to cast magical spells. Presence is to resist mystical spells, like cleric type spells.
So I'd say probably put your 4 in presence,
To avoid attacks.
and that'd be a C4.
Yeah, that should
Be
be.
careful with those words. And then
Explosive.
ah!
Ooh.
And then oops, I messed my hair up. We've got 1, 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
So something in reason.
I would.
let's stick 2 because I'm gonna have to remove 1.
Right.
And so where
Well,
that's
mental is reason, perception, spirit, and presence. So you just
Right.
have to reduce one of all those, one
Any
of
of-
the 4.
Right.
So with a 2 with the full moon, that would be a C2,
That would be a B.
a B2.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because you're in the same subcategory.
Right. Reason and perception are linked.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get to raise 1 and lower 1 of each of these bad boys, these rows here.
Mhm.
All right, scroll up a little bit so I can see which one I want to raise.
Well, you really only
I
can
wanna
raise
my endurance.
endurance.
I do. I would like to raise my endurance. And I'm going to lower my perception by 1 because it's at an 8. And I think that's 7 is still pretty good. Right?
Yeah, for
Except for
sure.
the others are too low.
I'm looking at this.
Let's
Do-
think.
How do we have 2 cards left?
Did you put-
Nature and demeanor.
Yeah, nature and demeanor.
Oh, right. Okay. So do you see the title references here? Is careless and innovative, reserved and insightful. Use one or both of those for either your demeanor and one of the 2 or both of the 2 for your nature. And this just helps define how you chemically are an individual.
Those are quite opposites of each other.
Well,
aren't they?
reserved is good for yeah, one's an internal truth and the other is an external projection of who you are.
It's the level system. Awesome.
Well,
So-
I like reserved and insightful. I think that
Mhm.
that sounds the type of character that I'm trying to play.
Okay. So is that how you want your nature to be or your demeanor?
Is that who you really are, or is it how other people see you?
That's how other people see me.
And you don't have to use both of them. You can use just one. So if you wanted to use just
Oh.
innovative for your nature of who you actually are, then that would be pretty good for a knight, I think. Careless would not be good.
No, fearless people leave out. Innovative. So I guess I'm having trouble understanding the difference between demeanor and nature. Can you explain that again?
Yeah. So I am an introvert naturally. I like to shy away from people. That's just who I am. But I have a YouTube show, and so I present myself as an affable, sort of public, friendly person. But that's not really my true nature.
Which one is which?
So demeanor is how you present yourself. Nature is who you are.
Okay. Nature, reserved and insightful, I think. And then demeanor, innovative.
That's great.
Other people will see me as innovative, but it's because I am reserved and insightful. I'm thinking about things, how to innovate new things.
That's nice.
Like,
okay. So then at this point, we can move on to another character, and you can fill out the rest of this, like your race, role, background, your homeland. You can fill out your arms and armor based on the handout of arms and armor that's attached. And remember, you're under aristocracy, so you have no problem with money. You can buy pretty much whatever, but just remember what you're limited by. And, I don't really want you to look like that junk person in Labyrinth with a huge backpack full of gear.
right.
Just think logically how you would carry stuff around. If you want to have a horse or a cart or something like that, you could definitely afford both of them. So just, think about it like that.
Okay, cool. I can do that.
Okay, so let me delete all these cards, reshuffle the deck, and we will move on to the next. Who wants to go? Well, Ashley, or Goldmoon, you had said you'd raised your hand. So let's have you go next.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Shuffle. And then deal. 12 cards. What the heck? Where are you on my list? Oh, there you are. Okay, so do you want to just throw them all up on the board and we'll work out on your character here?
Yeah, sorry, let's see.
Chrysania's the one? What?
Makes no sense.
Oh.
Palin is a one. Palin.
Yeah.
What?
He was
the
the master of the
wizard.
tower.
He was
Yeah.
a wizard, and we're currently in the
Oh,
process.
High
let me
bulb.
see this.
Look at the
Oh,
high bulb.
yeah.
Ash, you got Goldmoon.
Yeah, nice.
How do I? Oh, there we go.
How is
Oh,
the
no.
high bulb a 9?
How could
I'll be right back, you guys.
Oops. Okay, so I open up my blank character sheet.
I'm only seeing 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
I have
11.
2 9s.
You want to say hi to our puppy Kane? Hi,
10,
Kane.
11. I only see 11 cards on the board. There should be 12, right? Is one hidden?
Maybe just need a dealer another one.
No, that's 12.
Is it? Are you guys seeing 12?
I see 11.
Here, let me go like that.
Maybe there's one missing. Oh, there it is.
there it is.
was-
It was
that's
just
what
Oh,
it
it was too far off to the side.
That's a pretty good one, Lord Aragon. 8 hearts. Okay. I mean, just looking at this, you could definitely be a very similar character as the other one. So you had mentioned you wanted to be a fighter, right? A dwarf fighter, possibly? Because you could be a fighter cleric very well with this.
I mean, I liked being a cleric in the previous game, so I'm not opposed to that.
Okay.
So,
It's totally up to you. Let's see what it takes to be a dwarf, though, really quick.
Yeah.
Your ability scores, your agility is an 8 max. And so the shield cannot be more than an 8. And I only see a 1 there. So that should
no
be
problem there.
Yeah, a strength of 7 minimum. And that's not a problem with your 9 of swords. Your reason is 7 maximum. I don't see any reason. Oh, 1.
I got a 1.
Yeah, but you don't have to use that one for that, because
Right.
the ability code is different. And then let's see, dwarf. Wait, where did I say reason? That was centaur. Sorry. So dwarf is endurance 6 minimum, and strength 6 minimum, dexterity 8 maximum, agility 8 maximum. So if you want to be a dwarf, we'll work through that concept here. Ability codes,
Yeah.
reason has to be a B maximum. So you couldn't use the 1 of moon in order to use it for your reason, because that would give you an A code, unless you dropped it down and had a 2 instead. But let's work on the strengths first and then go down from there. So
Yeah.
endurance and strength are 6 minimum both in order to be a dwarf. So that's your helmet and sword icons.
I have no helmet
Yeah,
here.
but you do have, let's see. You have 2 high orbs, so we could use one of the orbs for, it would be a C for either
Okay.
endurance or strength, which would not be good. Oh, jeez. Let's see, agility. Do you have anything high there? 1. Oh, man. This is rough. Dexterity, arrows.
That one.
Oh, oy vey.
I'll be a pathetic weakling dwarf, no problem.
Oh, man, this is not good. Okay, so maybe you're going to be more of just like a healer type.
Okay.
That can actually like hit people pretty well.
You can't possibly do more than he did to be courageous and inspiring. That's rough. A 1.
It looks like all of the titular characters got low scores.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of bogus.
For sure.
So, yeah, for endurance.
If
what do
you
I
want
wanna
to be able to
then?
use
One of
any
orbs?
weapon, I would use your 9 of swords for your strength. And that would give you an A code.
I would like to use a weapon.
No,
Right.
any weapon is what I mean.
Oh, any weapon.
Yeah.
So I click the A, and then do I enter 9? I presume.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Are you entering it in the character sheet, or are you entering it into the PDF blank character sheet?
I'm in the PDF. Where do I go to find my proper
Oh, so
thing?
go up to the characters. It should be above that, on the right-hand side of Roll20.
Yeah.
Just click on your name,
Oh. Alright.
and then you'll see the character sheet tab, and it shows all your
There
abilities.
we go.
So strength is a 9A.
alright. Sweet. There
So
we go.
now we need to do endurance, and it has to be a minimum of 6. This is going to be a little bit tougher because you don't have anything of good codes, so you're not going to be able to use very much armor options. But if you use your 9, that's a C, and that would give you endurance. C is very light, light, or medium armor, so that wouldn't be so bad. So the 9 of orbs for your endurance.
Yeah. I bulp. Alright, we're doing it.
Good old Habolt.
You said that's a C? What?
Yeah, that ends up being a code of a C because it's a
Interesting.
completely
Okay.
different group. So if it's within the 2 group, if, for example, if you're using endurance and you have a helmet, that's an A. If you're using endurance and you have a sword, that's a B. A C, oh, you know, you're going to be a D actually, not a C. A C would be agility or dexterity symbols, and then a D is any of the other symbols. An X would be a dragon, which means you're really terrible at whatever that requires. In this particular case, you're a D, which means you can use light or very light, light or very light armor, which, you know, as a cleric type character that can fight isn't so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the maximum ones. Your agility and dex are both 8 max as a dwarf. So that's not really a problem here. So do you have any shields and arrows anywhere? You have a 1. That's not very
I have,
good.
like, broken shield.
Yeah. You can drop that down to a code of a C and give you a 2 if you want to use that for your agility.
Yeah, because I think I want to save the Ackle Ergot for something else, right? Probably. Alright, so I'm just gonna say agility, so I can
So it's
make
gonna
it
be
a
a
2?
2C, yeah.
2C.
And then dexterity. What do we got here? You got the Sturm, so that's a C. If you wanted to use 1C for that. It's not very good though. I would use probably a
Well,
7 and
Apple.
just go with D.
I'm gonna go with this fierce-looking ankle.
Wait, hold on. Before you do that, wait.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perception, so that should be fine, I think. I mean, it's up to you, but Gargath is freaking me out. His picture,
One of my favorite characters in the entire series.
he's freaking me out, man.
Mm,
He's intense, too intense. So that if you used a 7, that would be a 7C. I'm sorry,
Nope.
a 7D.
Going with Sturm. So that's a
Well, you went with
2.
Sturm for the agility, right?
No.
Or you used Tika for the... Yeah, you used Sturm for the agility.
No, for the dexterity.
What?
I don't know.
Well, there should be 4 down, right? There's 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Sturm is going to be your dexterity. So that's going to be a... Yeah, that's going to be a 1D for dexterity. Which isn't great, but then you are a dwarf.
Yes.
But then you are very small.
You're very sturdy, we'll say. Like a tree.
Oh boy. So then reason is next.
So, well, I mean, let's think about this. If you want to cast, like, mysticism spells, like a cleric would, we can throw that 6 of heart in there, or the 8 of heart.
Wouldn't I want that for my spirit though? Like,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying,
heart?
is for your spirit to just throw that in there so we know, just populating it. If you want to go to reason next,
Okay.
we can do that too. I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Well, I want to use Gold Moon.
So what is the 8 you're using for?
For spirit.
Okay, so that's 8A. And that means you're going to have 3 different mysticism spheres to cast spells from. Whoa. What was that?
That
Thanks
wasn't
for the
me.
beep.
For me, I think Gold Moon would be the best for your nature. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, can I do that?
Yeah, if you'd like to.
Now, barrel. I want to save that for my
I'd probably
hand
use that for your
size,
hand,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
Let's see.
Um.
I'm trying to look here. Your reason is a B max, so no matter what you choose for that, that's not going to be an issue. Your presence, you're going to want it kind of high, just because that's how you resist other people's magic, and it also, let's see, it means you're a good leader.
I'm using. I'm gonna be a deceitful and uncaring leader.
The best kinds. I
What's
hear.
a 6?
So that's going to be a
What do-
B.
Put in
'Cause
some
it's the same
maliciousness.
group, just
Right?
a different number. What's that?
Put in some maliciousness.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, that's coming. Okay, so for my perception, I'm going to be shrewd and bigoted. Right.
Jeez. Hey, just like a dwarf. All right. That'll be great.
Yeah, it would totally fit.
So
Yeah.
that's an A.
Right.
7A.
For
And then-
reason, I suppose it comes.
Yeah, you have to only have a B for reason. So if you used Palin, just drop it down to a C, and it would be a 2C if you want to do that. Or you could do 3, or
What happens if I use Chrysania?
that would actually be a ABC inherently,
Would
a 1C.
Gilthos be a 2B?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Now I want to use Chrysania. Okay. So,
She's like, I choose worse.
of course. Okay. Was calm and merciful. Cruel. Okay, so
So
she's
that's ABC.
C. All right.
Yeah. So if you guys look, if you're not actively choosing your cards right now, you can look at the handout of ability codes and see what each code means for each different ability score, and that'll help you make your choices for when your turn comes up next.
Yeah, don't be like me. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Well, we're all learning. We're
I
all,
don't know what I'm doing here either. You're good.
yeah, we're all new to this. Okay, so there's two things, two choices we need to make: quest and reputation, and then wealth and social status. So your quest and reputation, again, are directly related to the size of your hand. The social wealth and social class is your social class in society. It's a role-playing situation. It's not really a literal, welcome to a High Lord, Warghoul. Good to see you, man. So if I were you, I would choose the 8 as you had suggested before for your reputation.
Oh, come on down.
So that means your
Meryl.
reputation is champion,
Awesome. Mhm.
and you have 5 cards in your hand.
So,
Okay. And then your quest is, it was an 8,
Yeah.
right?
why is that an 8? What is that?
Well, that was the number
represent
that you
to,
chose, the malicious card.
Means you're a veteran.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So
Okay.
quests take the place of levels, basically. So each time we complete a new quest, you'll just get another number, and eventually it'll give you more hands in your, more cards in your hands, stuff like that.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, like Bilbo was a 1, Gandalf was a 9, and all the dwarves are somewhere between 5 and 6 in The Hobbit.
So wealth and social status. You got a
Yes.
1, 2, and a 3. So it's either slave, peasant, or commoner. Decisions.
Is this the last card that I use?
Well, no, because the other ones are going to be the words. That's going to be your demeanor and your nature. So maybe consider those as well here.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, brother. Who? Speaker Gelthas or Palin? Oh. I guess I'll
I
go
love that we can
serious
hear your thoughts.
and open-minded. So that's a 2. So I'm a peasant champion.
Nice.
Excellent.
So
Champion of the people.
yeah, is your nature going to be sensible and compassionate, or impressive and or impulsive and inquisitive? And the
Well,
other
I
your
think
demeanor.
it should be obvious at this point. My nature is that of Guildmoon.
Nice. That's
So I put
funny
a
how that
3?
worked out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then a 1 for impulsive.
Oh, not
and
the numbers. Use the
inquisitive.
words on these.
Goodness. An 8. The words?
Yeah. So sensible and compassionate and impulsive and inquisitive. You don't have to use both. You can use one, but it's just meant for role playing.
I'm using both.
Okay. That's fine.
I look at it as kind of like a guide to how you can play your character.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a system reinforcement in this game? Because I know, like in other games, like White Wolf, if you play your nature and demeanor, it would like give you willpower points. Is there any kind of benefit for playing your nature and demeanor in the game?
No, it's just me rewarding you in quests and stuff like that.
With cookies.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll give
Cool.
you great cookies, or I will spit in them and still give them to you.
I'll go
Might be
next.
Scooby snacks.
Scooby snacks. That'll be a fun game. A bunch of high people trying to play with cards.
All right.
So to answer the question from NickNack95, how you be handling XP in Saga System, experience takes the form of completing a scene. So it's very much like White Wolf in this particular case, where you're narrating and going through almost like a play, and each new scene, you know, the narrator, me, the dungeon master, decides on how well people perform, how close they are to the characters that they crafted, how creative they are throughout the course of the game. And once a number of scenes are completed in terms of that would then complete a quest, and it's very arbitrary and, you know, just abstract, then I will assign a quest or two to those individuals. And that's really how you handle it. It's certainly not something where I'm just going to willy-nilly throw out, you know, quests to people. But if you're really creative and you're really into it, then you will not fall behind anyone else in the group in your quests. But that's really how you do it. I mean, it's a totally different system.
And then you get a cookie.
Yeah. Give me next.
I'll go next. If
Okay,
no one
are
else
you
wants
done?
to.
Are we good? Okay, so go ahead and Goldmoon, go ahead and look at your equipment. Look at the physical codes to see what type of armor and weapons you can use and shields and stuff. But you are a dwarf fighter who can definitely cast magic, and so we'll get into magic once everyone has a character. Okay, so let me shuffle this deck, and we will go to Derek. Deal 12 cards. Okay, now which Derek is in here? The lowercase. Deal.
I got Chrysania.
Thank you, Wargul. I appreciate that, man. Ooh,
Ooh,
wow.
I got a dragon at 10.
Megalomaniac. Keep that for your demeanor. Just be a maniac.
I'll be right
Okay.
back, guys. I have to make a phone call.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let's start pulling these
Hey,
guys.
there's Durkin again.
Dirk. Oosh.
Oh yeah, Usha, golden eyes, right?
Mm-hmm. God, that 10, man.
I got a soft.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that's great. The Shadow Sorcerer.
Ooh, spooky.
I remember reading all those books trying to figure out who the Shadow Sorcerer was. It was not who I thought it was.
Mm-mm.
All right.
I'm not seeing. You got, like, some
I need to
hidden
move some of them
cards.
over a little bit.
Okay. So you got some good cards here. Wow. A 9 and a 10 of dragon. That's great. So let's see here. Where's your character sheet?
I'm
Yeah.
just laughing because I'm gonna make my dwarf 300 pounds.
Okay.
Is that why
Yeah.
I know low agility?
He's gonna look like you
I
went through the
can't help it.
fucking Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. So perception, you can be really resistant to magic if that's in your cards. Let's see. Gosh, what is that?
In your cards.
Seven of hearts.
Let's see, what do I got for shields too?
It's not a great number, but it's a good code. It would be A, you know. So, but then if you're not going to use
Yes.
shields, then it's pointless.
Yeah. I think I'll put my agility. I'll use Usha for my shield. Go for a 2.
Okay, so
Yeah.
2A. Were you going to
A.
try to be anything other than human?
Well, I don't. At this point, I'm just gonna see what I come up with, and then I'll
Gotcha.
choose the race at the
Okay.
end. Because I mean, I wouldn't mind being a half elf or an elf, but half elf has a bunch of restrictions based on the elf restrictions. So I was like, I might go sorcerer because I got a couple cool cards for sorcerer. It looks like. I could even be a mystic, right? With spirit being
You
that
could
high.
definitely be a mystic. I
Yeah.
don't see the sorcerer ones being very high. Oh, 5.
I
There
got
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's adequate.
Yeah.
Not
no.
great, but.
So
So you got perception.
just to give people a general idea about how magic works, it's basically open to whatever you can craft in the moment. There's no preset spells to go off of, and it's all based on point systems. So your spell points are your reason times your reason is your spell points, or your spirit times your spirit is your mysticism points. So you use that pool in order to create spells and craft them, on the fly. Because again, this is wild magic in the Fifth Age, and so it's unreliable and it's sporadic and just sort of random.
I'm gonna use the dragon for my quest for 9. So
Jeez,
that's to be
okay.
champion, right?
Yeah.
All right. And I will use.
Well, hold
I
on. For
think
your
I'll-
quest, a 9. Yeah, champion 5 cards. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, it's cool. Just trying to see everything.
So are you using your? Because you can't use a 10 for the wealth, because anything above a 9 is royalty.
Oh, okay. So should I put the
I would
9
go
on
opposite,
the
yeah.
wealth?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just do 9 on wealth, I guess.
And that just puts you at the very high end of champion of 5 cards. So your next quest, you'll get another card in your hand.
Yeah, it doesn't really change anything for quest, right? Because 9 through 10 is still
Right, but if you
champion,
used
right?
your 10 for your quest rather than the 9, then the next quest you would have a new card in your hand.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll go ahead and take the 6 and throw that into my agility. So 6 into or dexterity. Sorry, 6 arrow into that should be an A, right?
An arrow, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then in endurance, it looks like I got a 4. That works well. Actually, no, I'll put the 9. I just realized I have a 9. I'm putting 9
Oh,
into
wow. Yeah.
my agility. Let's do that. And I'll take that 9, throw that in there, and I'll take the.
You'd be great with
What was the
range
other one that I
weapons.
had?
Is the
It
7
was a
Porthios?
6. Yeah.
Oh, 6. Yeah.
And then we'll do for endurance. I think all I got is that 4, right? I don't see anything for. Has anyone gotten a crown yet for presents? I don't remember
I
anyone
don't
getting.
recall any of that. No.
It's at the bottom of the deck. Let's see. Can I use my 8 of arrows for my presents?
Yes, you can. That would be a A, B, C, D.
So D. Okay. And then
Just
in my
to explain what a D is for presence to everyone watching here, that means you have a slight leadership skill. It's below average.
I don't have the 9 anymore. That's gone.
And your 10 is gone.
The 10 is gone. And now if I take the 4 with armor, is it better for me to do that or to take like the agility of 8? Because I don't know.
Well, for arrows, that would be a
Or
C.
dexterity. Yeah.
So that means for encumbrance, that would be very light, or medium armor, or endurance, I mean. So that would
Okay.
be fine, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna take the arrow for an 8 in endurance, and that's a C.
Yep.
Okay, that's out of the way. And I don't have anything for strength right now, right? Do I? I can't see my whole
No.
screen.
It would
Got a
be a
9
C if you used your 6.
I'll use 9 for perception because that's makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'll use. I think Soth was a 8, right, or 7. That's right.
Soth is a 7 heart, yeah.
7 of heart, and I'll take that one for my 7 of heart
Yeah.
for spirit. That's also an A, right?
Yep.
And then I'll do my 5 of crescent moons for my reason. So I'm not. That's still a 5, right? Or
Yeah.
a 5A, yeah.
Yeah.
And now I need to decide. How silly do I want to be?
Maximum silliness.
Maximum effort.
Do I want to be Porthios and be a complete jerk to everybody?
That'd be fun.
Oh my
That'd be a
gosh.
great game. Just
Yeah.
talking smack the whole time.
I'm down.
You just be like Raceland talking to Karaman.
Oh, and I got my 9. I used my 9 already of reason on that, so that's gone. So now what do I have left?
Strength.
Strength. Well, I don't got anything that's going to be great for strength, so I guess I'll use the since it is a physical, I'll use my arrow, my dexterity,
Okay.
6 for
That's a C.
Porthios. And that's out of the way. Just and read. No.
So how do you have 3 cards left? Because you should only have 2 at this point.
Oh, I got rid of the 4 already. Yep, the
Oh,
4 has been
okay.
used because that was my Actually, no, I didn't use my 4 because don't have it on here. Let's see. What did I do? Where did I mess up?
I don't see any 4s.
The 4 right here. Don't think I used it.
Right, I see, like, you have 2 4 cards, one's heart, one helm, but I don't see any 4 in your physical or mental abilities.
Yeah, I didn't put anything in
And you
there. I
already used
used
the 2 dragons, so that's 8, 9, 10. So you should only have 2 more. How the heck?
maybe what I did is I used that. Did I use that 8 twice? Because I see 2 8s. Do I have more than? Do I have more than 1 8? Let me check and see. Did I accidentally use 2 8s?
That might be it.
Let's see, 9, 10, 7.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
I
it
used the
looks
8 twice. Yeah, so I'll just make this a 4. And I'll use my 4 of. That will make it a 4A for endurance. Right? And that makes it so I have 2 cards left.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right. There we go. And then what else do I need? I need my nature and demeanor.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm gonna be a boring person. All right. I was like, I want to be flamboyant and weird. Oh, never mind.
Calm
Okay.
and merciful and honorable and grandiose.
You can be honorable and grandiose. That's, grandiosity is a bit of flamboyance.
Yeah, I could try that.
That's true.
Venus Salamis, here I come. So. And do I do both words for one description, or do I use?
It's your choice.
Okay.
One or both.
All right.
You
I think
good?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. 2 of you left. Am I right?
Can I go next?
Chris?
All right. I've been paying attention. I think I got it down. What number do I roll for hit points?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
No, I might need a
Okay,
little
you
help.
just add your stamina and your size.
All right, there's your cards.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick Nack is right. Dwarves trump with... we haven't even explained what trump is yet, but we'll get into that.
People, you need to play Canasta.
Is that the same thing
Uh,
with the trump?
Yeah.
Oh, we have another 10.
Not Canasta. It's another game actually I'm thinking of. Hearts. Spades.
So how many weapons?
Whoa, you're taking it from the deck. You should...
Oh, no?
Yeah, right above your hand.
Whoops. Okay.
Your
sorry.
name is a 12. That's your hand. Do you see at the very bottom of the screen in the middle of the D20, it says Chris A?
Let me get rid of this. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of new. I mean, I've never used a deck before using this. It's a little different in this interface.
Okay. And how do you get them to display?
I think you drag them onto the... Yeah.
Registry?
Yeah.
Gold moon.
Uh-oh. There can be only
She's
one.
taken. Sorry.
Fight.
All right, Goldmoot. Could you get rid, Adam? Could you get rid of that Sturm that was left over from? I can't seem to get rid of this. This was from before.
Oh, you can ignore it. It's
Okay.
it's on the deck itself, so.
Okay.
It's got to be Frodo. Or Bilbo, actually. Mages. With that sweet facial hair. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And that completely nondescript, unimportant staff.
His,
I don't know if you can steal with the 4 in the bottom right.
yeah, I was just
Can we
going
finally
to
get
move
some
it so we can
crowd?
see it.
Okay.
Belladonna. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at what you got here. And I like the to be determined name in the characters. It's pretty funny. All right, you've got great armor. Has anyone? No one's gotten more than 2 dragons. That's great.
Thanks, Adam.
Yet.
You have engaged
Yet.
in elite mode for me now. I hope you know that.
It's going to be 10 dragons.
Watch, I'm gonna get 10 dragons, wrestle in, and just be okay.
I give up. I'm the lump that you guys have to roll around.
What do you recommend on this, Adam?
Oh my god, I would be the Kender.
But I thought we were
You
supposed
got
to
the
forget
9
about
of
it.
arrows. What else do you got? So we need agility for a Kender type as well as dexterity. You got the dexterity down. You had 2 crowns. Wow, that's the first crown. I mean, you have 2 helmets. That could be your dexterity reference or your agility reference right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just... well, no, you got a 6 of agility right there. You're 6 and 9. Yeah, dude, if you want to be a Kender, let's see what Kender have here. So agility is minimum of 7, which you would have to either drop your code down from A to C in order to have a 7 if you wanted to be a Kender.
Okay. I'll do it.
Okay, so then let's move the 6 of shield away and put 7C under agility.
6 of shield to the deck.
Now we'll just move it off the board for a second here, like that.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah. So on your character sheet, on the right-hand side, it has your name there.
Yep.
Just click that, click the tab character sheet, and under agility, it's going to be 7C.
Got it. Okay.
And then dexterity, if I were you, I'd use your 9 of arrows, and that's a 9A.
9A. Got it. Okay,
So
cool.
move that off. Now, Kender, you want to, I don't know, you want to resist stuff a little bit, so maybe think about presence and perception a little bit. In the War of Souls, we had a Kender who was mental, sort of talk to dead people and stuff, so they use mysticism, so that's a possibility if you're interested in that at all with your 3 of hearts. You could do that. If you wanted just to have a good perception, wait, that's a 2 for Gilthans? Oof, that's not
I'll
great.
do the mysticism. That sounds good.
So 3 of hearts would be your 3A under spirit.
We didn't get
honestly.
enough of that character. What was his name? Nightshade?
Yeah, Nightshade. I thought he was great.
Great, right? Yeah.
So much
I like
fun.
him.
Such a great change of character from regular Kender that we're so used to. Let's see what else. Your 7 of endurance is like right there. 7A.
7A. Got it.
Well, hold on. Just give me 1 second here. So agility is 7 minimum. Check. Dexterity is 7 minimum. Check. Endurance is 6 maximum. So you would have to drop down your endurance by your own choice or choose a different card.
I'll drop it down.
Well, you do have the 3, so it could still be A. You just drop it down to 6. 6 is better than 3. Math.
6A for endurance?
Better than 3.
Yeah, 6A.
6A. Okay.
So move that. What's the next? So strength is 6 max. You have a 4 of strength right there, if you want to use that.
Okay.
So that'd be 4A.
4.
And then presence is 6 minimum, and that's the crown, which you have right there, Muriela Brenna. So that'd be 6A on presence if you want that.
Okay. Cool.
And then perception is 6. Well, that's or presence. So perception is the moon. You could do a 2A on that if you want. And you can do a 6A.
I'll do the low perception. I think that would be funny if he just doesn't know what's going on half the time.
Okay. So your reason is 6A.
Reason 6A. Okay.
So you have those 4 left. Now, 9 and 8 are great for your wealth and for your quest and reputation. I would suggest using the 9 for quest just so you eventually get to 6 cards in your hand faster.
Sounds good.
So we'll use 9 for quests, and then your wealth, you have your 8 right there, and that makes you nobility. So you're like descendant of Uncle Trapspringer himself. Let's see. So other things about Kender is acute eyesight. Advantages is handling, trump bonus for sleight of hand or sneak actions. And disadvantages is short concentration. A codes allowed only for perception, which you have.
Short concentration. Say again. What'd you say?
Exactly. So you have your nature and demeanor, and you have lawless and tough for either your nature and demeanor, and decisive and courageous for the other. What do you want to do?
Let's see. So what? I'm sorry. What are the options? Decisive and courageous, or
Lawless and tough. You have to use both of them. One for your nature, one for your demeanor.
let's do decisive and courageous for demeanor.
So that's how you present yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. That means your true nature is either lawless, tough, or lawless and tough.
Lawless.
Really?
Just-
Just don't care. All right.
Gotta love Kender.
We're going to rename this entire campaign to Forget Chris.
There was a TV show like that. Everybody Hates Chris. That was
Yeah.
basically-
So Adam, what's this hidden Dalamar the Dark down here in the bottom right-hand corner that I'm seeing?
I have no idea.
Oh, do we need to
Watching
reshuffle
us.
the deck?
Yeah, let me just reshuffle the deck. Oh, here, I'm going to have to discard them. I don't know where those came from. I must have known just... I don't know.
And I
All
just
right.
had a quick question, Adam. Can I switch something?
Yeah, what's up?
I don't want my character to be royalty. Can I set myself to a 1 for reputation and wealth?
You'd be like Gladiator, where your royalty, you just don't know it yet.
I was just thinking it would be.
Totally up to
I don't
you,
know.
man.
I didn't want to play a noble character. I wanted to play something that was a lot lower. But
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to drop it down, I'm totally fine with that. If you want to keep it something that you just don't know about, and we use that as a story element later on, we could do that as well.
okay, I'm cool with that. I just
Okay.
would rather be at a lower standing.
Yeah.
When we start.
All right.
All
All right,
right.
Kurt, got your cards.
Last but not least, let's see what the fates have decided.
And we got a pretty good group here so far, I think.
Yeah, so 10 dragons.
Yeah, let's see it.
That's one of them.
Okay. Let's see them.
Oh my gosh. No way.
No. He's messing with you.
Ow.
All right.
Whoa.
Nice.
Rainbow.
How is Dugan Redhammer only a 5? He's a god.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's because of his gambling addiction.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
It's just it hurts him everywhere else.
I would have
Oh,
actually
Lord of
lost
Dragon.
it if I had gotten 10 dragon cards.
Yeah, I think we all would have cried.
I think that would have been a mulligan. Can we try again, please?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not fair.
I'd have played it. Play it as it lands.
It'd be fun.
Some of my favorite characters I've ever played have been just mechanically nightmares.
Like, you ever see that show, Dorkness Rising? Where the guy
Yes.
makes 50 different bard characters that keep dying over and over again. You just keep doing that. Oh, this character dies. Here's my next one. Here, this character dies.
I don't see your 12th card.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's down there at the bottom left, right here.
Yeah.
Portheos.
Underneath of Flint Fireforge.
I see that, but like I'm seeing the far end of Megalomaniac and Imperious and Commanding. Is there anything to the
Oh,
right
here.
of those?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. That's why I couldn't see it. All right, cool. So what are you looking at here? What are you thinking?
Oof. I'm kind of average in everything that's not a dragon.
I mean, you're great at agility. And you're
I'm
not bad at
thinking
dexterity.
I might go with something like a noble.
Dude, your presence is high, too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking of going with like party kind of wrangler sort of deal.
Okay.
Do we have any magic users in the group?
We have one.
I
Okay.
be
Well,
a
we have a
magic
couple
user.
people that can use magic if they want to go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to use Verminard as my
So Nick
actual...
Knack is asking Sylvenesty Noble, maybe?
Yeah,
Do you want to try
yeah,
the
that's
elf?
what I'm honestly thinking.
So for
Thanks, Nick
elves,
Knack.
agility is a 6 minimum,
Mm-hmm.
which done.
Yep.
Right.
So we are 9A for presence.
Wait, which character is your name?
To be determined.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't know what race I was going to be playing, anything like that.
So your presence is
So
9A.
six
Let me look at
agility. What are my minimums if I want to go with Sylvanesti?
Agility is 6 minimum, dexterity is 6 minimum, and presence is 6 minimum.
Okay, well I've got the presence down.
Yeah. I don't see you have the number in there, you just have the code. for
Oh,
presence.
it just hasn't updated yet.
Gotcha.
There you go.
So 9A.
So if
You do
we
have maximums on your ability codes for some of these. They're all C max for agility, dexterity,
Mhm.
endurance, and strength.
Okay. So the 8 agility then for Rig Merkrell would be kind of wasted since it'll knock down from an A to a C.
Right. It would give you another extra number though. It would give you 9.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so let's do that. That'll put me 9 agility C.
Be right back, real quick.
No problem.
Then dexterity would give me a 7.
And that's a B minimum on your ability score or code.
A B minimum
Yeah.
on dexterity.
So that would be an
Okay,
A.
then I'll put a 6A.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, other physical ones.
So for an elf, strength and endurance are both 8 max,
Yeah.
with a code of C max on endurance and B minimum on strength.
Okay, so I need a B minimum strength, and I
Oh,
have
boy, the only way you can get that is to use either the 5 or the 2 of helms.
yeah. So let's do the. I'll be a weakling. Screw it. Let's. We're gonna use the 2 of helms for my
Okay.
strength.
So that's 2B.
Yep. Or not to be. That's the question.
Ah.
Question.
Yeah, Derek, you don't have a monopoly on dad jokes in this town.
Oh my gosh, you sure don't.
Derek, you want to know when a dad or when a joke becomes a dad joke, right?
When it becomes apparent.
Exactly.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I get it.
All right, and then
Get out of this
endurance we're gonna do 5, but it bumps down. Do I have a code max?
You're using for endurance?
Yeah,
You have a C maximum.
C max, so
Yeah,
6
so it could be
C.
6C, yeah. It's not bad.
No, not at all. Okay. We are going to, hey, the part that I'm actually decent at, mental scores. So we're going to go with a 7. That would be a C for reason. If I went with a 6 of crowns.
So that'd be ABC. Yeah, 6C for reason.
Well, 7C if I went with a 6 of crowns.
Right, to drop it. No, it
Okay.
would be a natural C because you, in order to use the presence, if you use the crown for presence, it's an A. If you use it for spirit, it's a B. If you use it for reason or perception, it's a C naturally.
Okay, so C naturally. Gotcha. So 6C.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with a 6 in perception and a 5 in reason.
Gotcha.
So those will both be C codes.
Right. Oh boy, the other ones are not looking good.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't really want to know anything about mysticism.
Don't think that's going to be a problem.
How about this boy?
Well, no, we're getting there.
Okay.
So spirit,
So I'm
which
gonna
one do you want to
head
use for
and-
spirit?
So I'm going to use Tasselhoff Burfoot for my spirit and
He's a
put
spirit
myself.
animal.
Yep. That puts me at what, D? Naturally?
1D, yeah.
Yep. 1D. Min-maxing, guys.
Get that first roll.
No. So we did just a test draw to see how this all worked beforehand. And I got decent cards.
Really good
but
cards.
that wouldn't have been fair, so I decided to voluntarily give them up.
Magnanimously
so-
sacrificed himself.
Yeah. So now I have what?
So quests and wealth.
Yeah. So those are going to be my 2 dragons, my 2 decent dragons.
You're gonna be eccentric somehow. Okay. So if you'd use your 10 for your quests, that puts you 1 away from 6 cards, so you'd start with 5 cards.
Yeah. And if I did 7 for wealth, that would put me aristocracy. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And then 10 for quest. And I'm going to be eccentric, inspiring, and fair. Demeanor is going to be eccentric.
Okay. That fits. You were.
And nature is inspiring and fair.
So are
I love
you
it.
Sylvanesty, Quilinesty, or Kagonesty?
I'm going to go with Qualinesty.
So let's keep in mind also what these different groups are going through. They're all ostracized ostensibly. Like right now, Barrel-Nox is the Dragon Overlord. Green Dragon is
Right.
in charge of Quilinesty, and all the elves are sort of under the rule of the Dark Knights who are acting on behalf of Barrel-Nox. Sylvanesty is in like a literal shield protecting themselves, which is also draining their essence and spirit. There's a war going on over there. The Kagonesty elves are pretty much enslaved or ostracized from their home by Frost, another dragon. So
So
they're
the
not doing
shield
great.
is still up.
Yeah, the shield is
Um,
up.
So I'm going to be kind of like what I'm thinking is not an exiled Sylvanesty noble, but just the Sylvanesty noble that they send out to embassies because they don't want him in the capital.
So, okay. So there's
So-
a couple role-playing cues we could take from that. One of those is that you were sent out right before the shield came up, and now you can't
Mhm.
get back. Because if you're in the shield, you can't get out. If you're out of the shield, you can't get back
Right.
in. And there is a Legion of Steel outpost very nearby Sylvanesty that Alana Starbreeze and Porthios are both using as assistance in trying to get through the shield, and at times assistance fighting off ogre attacks and stuff like that. So you could definitely be on special assignment, as Nick Nack says here.
Cool. And what does the 10 in quest give me for my hand size?
5.
Nice.
So just 1 quest away from 6. Okay, so that is all your characters. I want to give you an opportunity to look at your equipment and sort of flesh yourself out that way. Just look at the handouts there. And again, reference those ability codes that you guys have when you're choosing weapons and equipment, because there are going to be limitations there. And also at the quick reference for races, it shows you any advantages or disadvantages that you might have based on your race as well. So after this session, I would encourage you to look at those handouts I sent a link to for different roles, because you may fit in a pre-created role that you just really like and you want to use the bonuses and hindrances from that. But if not, and you just want to sort of craft your own version of a character like we have right here, that's fine too. So it's just really however you want to do it moving on. But while you're looking at your equipment and everyone is sort of finishing up their characters, let's talk a little bit about Saga System as a game and how it works. Because in general, I think most of us understand what's going on in the world right now, and I'll flesh all that out on the first actual gaming session on where we are and what's happening in the region that we're in. But for the actual mechanics of the game right now, let's go over spells, because that is probably the most confusing and frustrating of, in my opinion, all of the different game mechanics for Saga System. So, and maybe even before that, let's just talk about what actions are and how to do things, including cast spells. So everything in this game is based around the hero, the character. So there will never be a time when a monster pulls a card out to do an action. Instead of them attacking you, it's you defending against their attack. And so it's always hyper-focused on you. And everything with action comes with different steps. And the first one is a difficulty level, which is generally unknown to all of you. Like, I'll never tell you what the difficulty level is, but you can pretty much guesstimate what they are, because something that's very easy has a rating of 4. Something very near impossible has a rating of 24. And what those numbers mean is you have to use the ability along with a number of cards in your hand in order to overcome that number. So for example, if you're trying to pick an easy lock, you would be using your agility score number and whatever cards you think you're going to need to overcome an easy level of the number 4. So your agility might be all you need to do, but you don't know if it's actually going to be easy or not. It's a total guess. So that's where it becomes a little bit more challenging in choosing what cards and how many cards to play, because you're trying to overcome an unknown number. So you have to be strategic about it. However, when you do play cards, you immediately draw a new card from the deck to replace the card that you had just used. So you can't use a card from the deck immediately, but you'll replace a card that you just used immediately. So, you know, if you want to use 2 cards in order to open the deck and it equals 10 and your agility is 4 and you have a 14, well, then you had successfully opened that easy lock and you immediately draw 2 cards to replenish your cards back to their total number. The only time you will not have your total number of cards in your hand is if you get hurt. And we'll get into that in combat just here in a minute here. Now, that's an unopposed action, right? Sometimes you're going to be opposed. So if you want to hit a monster, for example, you're going to have to overcome their endurance, for example, if it's going to be a physical attack, or you're going to have to overcome their agility if it's a missile attack. So you don't know what that number is. So you have to guesstimate based on the creature it is, the difficulty of the action that you're trying to perform, and then use your ability score of strength in a melee attack, and then use the amount of cards that you think is going to be enough. Now, there's 2 sides of using cards, right? One is trump cards, and the other are mishaps. Now, a mishap is basically like rolling a 1, but you're the only one that can choose to roll that, and that's a dragon card. So if you happen to not go over the number that you need, and you used a dragon card to do it, that is an immediate mishap and something bad happens to you. But if you did overcome the challenge rating, well, then you succeed and it doesn't matter. So the only time something bad happens is if you use a dragon card and you don't succeed.
And it's not enough. So if you played that like 1 dragon that I drew for some odd reason, then that would be generally not a great thing.
Yeah. That could be bad. That could be really bad. If you didn't successfully do it, ultimately.
Right.
So, and please let me know if you're confused on any of this so far. Like the basic mechanics of just trying to choose a number and using cards and your abilities to overcome that number.
I'm picking it up.
Okay. So then the other side of the mishap is the trump card. And that means that you play a card. If it's the same ability symbol as what you're trying to do, so if you're trying to hit someone, and that's swords, and you play a sword card, that's considered a trump card. And you can then draw a card from the deck to add to your total. And if you draw another sword, you keep drawing until you don't draw that same symbol again. So you can actually do surprisingly well, like a natural 20 effect, basically, by using the ability symbol for that action that's required. And whenever we're going through these, attacks or defenses or whatever, we'll make sure that you understand which symbol is for this action if you want to try to use a trump. There's, no one's trying to trick anyone. We're trying to be, you're the heroes. We want you to shine.
Quick question on the trump thing. So like you said, like we draw another card.
Yeah.
So say like we play a sword card because we're doing an attack, and our next card is a dragon card. Does that negative effect impact the trump that you're doing?
No. Because, well, on the off chance that you pull the trump card from the deck, like you used a sword and a dragon, and then you pulled a new card from the deck, and it still didn't overachieve the number you're trying to reach, then yeah, you would have a mishap.
Okay.
Because you didn't succeed. But if you did beat that number, then it doesn't matter.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's talk about spells, because this is the other thing that's a little bit difficult. Well, hold on. I want to hold it off for one more second. So we're already talking about like attacking, for example. Again, you defend against attacks, the enemy doesn't attack you. And so in an attack round, there's no initiative or anything like that. It's really just whoever wants to go first. But ultimately, when we decide whatever the order is, and we can use our abilities, maybe it's perception, maybe it's agility. If we have a leader, maybe they go first all the time, however you guys want to rule it, because it's your party. Then whoever's going to go first in any given situation, I just totally lost my damn train of thought. Okay, so once you attack, you have to immediately defend before you apply any damage. So it's very much like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in that, where everything is happening at once. And so you have to attack and defend at the same moment, and then any damage that happened to you and them is applied. And if you happen to kill them or they kill you, it happens after you've resolved both actions. So you can't just kill someone and not have them hit you back or try to hit you back.
But on the converse side, you can do the, ghost dog final sword blow to kill an opponent that takes you. Yeah.
And also keep in mind, because you only have 4 to 5 cards in your hand, when you're trying to beat something to like a difficulty number in order to hit someone, you have to keep in mind that they're going to be hitting you back. So you need to keep a number of cards in your hand to defend with as well. So you have to be strategic about what cards you use and when you use them, because when you're out and like if you don't have anything to defend based on, then you have to just rely on whatever number you have in your ability. And that cannot be a good thing in every case, right? So it can get kind of nasty here. Let's see what else. Spells. I've been avoiding it. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
So there's 2 types of magic. There's mysticism and sorcery. Sorcery is pulled out from the wild magic of the primal earth, and mysticism is used with the power of the heart, the Care Bear stare, if you will. Each of them have spheres, and if you have an A or a B, let's see, where are they? An A or a B in either spirit, or I totally lost my references. Reason or spirit, I think it is. Yeah, reason or spirit. If you have an A or a B code in reason or spirit, if you choose, you can also use magic. One of those 2. Again, because it takes so much effort to try to do this stuff, you're only really going to want to do it if you have a high number, because everything costs points, and your spell point total is based on the number. So if you have a 1A in spirit, you only have 1 spell point, because it's times itself. So you're really not going to be able to cast any magic, even though you understand how it works with your code of A, right? So if you have a reason of 6, for example, I'm looking at one, and it has a code of A, you can use 3 different spheres, and you have a spell point total of 36, because the number is times itself, and that is your spell points. Now, in order to cast a spell, again, there's no pre-designed spells. This is all wild magic, so it's all on the fly. So it is a little bit more difficult, and it takes a little bit more time, but it means you can customize it however you want. You have to consider 5 different aspects: the time it takes to invoke the spell, the effective range of the spell, the duration of the spell, the area effect of the spell, and the general spell effect, for example. So I want to pull up an example here in the book about an attack spell of Palin's Fire here. Let's see. And that'll probably be the best way to describe it, just straight from the book. And if you guys want to pull up the quick reference PDF that's on the right-hand side, that'll show you all these steps. Yeah. So that'll explain everything. I'm looking for the example here. Just bear with me for a second. Where did it go?
Down there.
Palin's Fire. Okay, here it is. So an example of a magical spell is Palin's Fire. So the invocation time that he has is a 5, which means it's instantaneous. And if you're looking at that, you can see your invocation time of 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute, and instantaneous. That difficulty rating is the amount of spell points it's going to cost for that one of all of the options. So the faster it is, the more it's going to cost you to cast. Your effective range, personal range right next to you is only a difficulty of 1 because you're right there. If it's artillery range, which is, on the other side of the hill, it's going to be a 5 for the difficulty because it's harder to hit something so far away. And so you're going to have to add in that. So if you, for example, are wanting it to be instantaneous, you got 5. If you want it to be melee range, that's 2 more, so that's 7. Your duration, how long do you want this to last? If it's just a bolt, well then, maybe instantaneous is fine, so it's only a 1. But if you want it to last like an hour, like for example, protection from evil type of spell or a firewall for something, you want it to last longer, then it's going to cost more points to do. And we have to do this every time you do a spell. So if you're going to play a caster type, just familiarize yourself with this list so we can sort of like blow through the point totals really quick. Don't feel stressed. There's no time limit, but just be familiar with it is all.
What I was telling Sarah was that one thing that might be a good idea for our casters in the group is to kind of get themselves like a short list of spell effects that they know how many points it costs.
Yeah.
So that they can just deduct that and cast a given, like a cure wounds spell on somebody in melee range, for example.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair. And I'll help with that as well. Like before we actually have our first gaming session, I'm sure there's tons of lists of people who have already put together spells and stuff because this did have a loyal fan base to it. So I'll just find a list there and I'll share it out to everyone as well. So, feel free to make your own. And then if we want to make adjustments to the existing ones, then we have the list here to make those adjustments from. It'll be really easy then. And then, every time we do a new spell, just make a little note about what it cost, and then we'll be able to reference that next time. And so the next one is the area of effect. So if it's just an individual, that's super easy. It's only 1. But if you want to do a crowd of 25 people, well, that's a 5. And then, of course, depending on the type of spell that you're casting, maybe it's not going to be an individual or people. It's going to be a house or a room size. Well, then that's going to be another comparison of 1 to 5 as well. And then, of course, if you want to reference time, for example, like a minute or an hour or a day or a week or a month, that also has its own little difficulty modifier. And then there's the damage or healing side of it, or the amount of hindrance it would be. And so if you're trying to harm someone with 1 or 2 points of damage, that's only a 1 difficulty. But if you're trying to like hit them hard with a 15 or 20 damage, that's a 5 difficulty. So you can see how the numbers add up really, really quickly. If you're trying to heal someone with 1 card or 1 point, that's a 1 difficulty. That's really pretty easy for a mystic. But if you're trying to harm them, heal them with their whole hand, that's 5. So it's basically 1 point per card in that particular case. So for Palin's fire spell, the invocation was instant, that's 5. The range was melee, that's 2. The area was 10 men, so he was doing like a fireball basically, and that was 4 points for the 10 men. The duration was instantaneous, that's only 1 point, and the spell effect, he wanted to do 6 damage, so that's a 3. So his total was 15 points to do a fireball at a group. Not bad. And so it's like any other attack action. You find out what your difficulty level is, you use your reason or your spirit for the spell, and then you play cards in order to overcome that number. And because it's opposed, you don't know what their perception or presence is. And so you have to overextend the amount of cards in order to get past what you think their perception is. So if you're trying to attack Erican, Lord Erican, he's probably got a really good perception or presence. But if you're trying to attack like a snake, well, it's probably not so high. So just always keep that in mind on how many cards you play and how many points you're going to be going for. And then you recoup those points at 1 point per hour. And that's kind of it. So let's talk about damage now. So once you've done your action to attack and you've completed your action to defend from the creature's attack, we have to deal with the damage side of it. And the damage deals with the ability score that you use. So if you're in melee, if you're hitting someone with a sword, that's strength. So you use your strength number plus the damage modifier of the weapon that you're using. And that is the total damage that you have done to the person if you succeeded in your action. So I see a strength of 4 right here. And if you're using a sword, let's look at the arms and armor table here. Sort of a cutlass is +4. So you would have done 8 damage if you successfully hit someone. but then there's also the hitting back. So now that if you get hit for 8, let's say, for example, your hit points are your hands, your deck. So you have to discard as many numbers in order to meet the amount of, as many cards in order to meet the amount of numbers of damage done to you. So if you have 5 1s and you were hit for 9 damage, you're unconscious because you have to discard all of your cards. But if you have 1 10 of dragon, you just discard it and you're good. But that means that you don't get that card back until you naturally heal. Natural healing is 1 card per day. However, you can actually, after combat, bandage someone up. And if you succeed in that action, they immediately get 1 card back. And the only other way of healing is to use some sort of magic, like mysticism, with someone, of course, with the healing sphere, or like a potion of healing or regenerating ring or something like that. So, you know, it's still very dangerous to get in combat because it's lasting damage. And if you use all your spell points attacking or defending during combat, you don't have any left to heal someone after combat. You could be a party walking around with 1 card in your hand or dragging unconscious people. Oof. The way that death works in this is everyone, no matter what negative you might have had to discard your cards, you're always just unconscious. That's it. You have no more cards in your hand, you're unconscious. After combat, if the creature fighting you wants to do a coup de grace and just finish you off, well, they can. You can't defend against it. There's nothing you can do about it. You're unconscious. But most people don't. Like, if you're defeated and you're laying on the ground, they just move on. You know, they may have a team come in after on a battlefield, for example, and, you know, finish off any, you know, moaning corpses. But other than that, they pretty much just ignore you. And that's the same for you. You may knock down an enemy and he's like, you know, completely unconscious. But if you don't coup de grace, then they might come back and try to seek revenge at some later date. However, it's still murder, right? So if you're in a civilized land and you straight up murder someone, there's probably going to be consequences for that. If it's a goblin incursion, probably aren't going to be any consequences. But if it's like a bar fight and you end up like murdering a dude, well, yeah, that's pretty messed up, you know? And then think of your nature and demeanors. Would you murder someone that's unconscious? You know, I mean, some people would have no problem with that. Some people would have a big problem with that. And if you have someone in your party who doesn't, you know, like a Knight of Salamnia, for example, you better be sneaky about finishing that coup de grace attack because they're probably going to be a little upset that you're killing people after they're on the ground, you know, very dishonorable. So it's totally up to you how you guys do it, but that's the general understanding of this.
As long as at some point during this game I get to hoist somebody by their own petard, I will be okay.
Okay.
What is a petard?
It is a type of lower garment.
Undies.
You're basically giving
Undies,
somebody
there you
a massive wedgie on an explosive. It's great.
Undies.
That ain't gonna happen.
Okay, so did anyone qualify to use magic? Because let's resolve that, because I do have a mock battle here so we can get a generic idea of how to do this. So Goldmoon, you said you did? What did you have?
Yeah, I got a 64 for mysticism because I have an 8 in spirit.
That's amazing. What's
I'll
your character
go-
name?
My character name? Are you ready? Birkin Bumblebum.
All right, Frickin'
The dwarf.
Bumblebum. Great name.
I like it.
Yeah.
I also have 49. I have a 7 in spirit, and then I also have a 5 in reason. So I have 25 sorcery.
What's the code in reason you have?
Both of them are A in reason and A in spirit.
Okay. So you're going to use sorcery on yours? Is that what you said? Or did you say
I
you're
can
gonna
use either
sorcery?
or.
It's up to you.
I mean, do you only have to pick one only?
I would prefer it that way because you kind of have to devote yourself to learning how to use it because it's so challenging. So it becomes a huge part of your life of either going to the Citadel to learn directly from Goldmoon or going to the Sorcery Academy and learning from Palin Majir.
Well, I always liked Chelsea, so I guess I'll go back.
Chelsea. Go to the Citadel. So you're going to do spiritual magic. What were you going to do, Goldmoon?
Mysticism.
I'm sorry, Virkin. Okay, so
I-
you're going to use mysticism. Did
I
anyone else
also-
have any magic?
I do.
What's your code?
4A. Spirit.
For spirit? So yeah, you would have how many points is that?
16.
So yeah, you could still do it.
It's
Okay.
low, but there.
So anyone who has an A, you get to choose from 3 different schools. And it looks like it's all mysticism. Does anyone have sorcery?
There was one sorcerer.
Are you there, Chris?
Oh, he sent a message.
What was the message?
His phone is charging. He ran out of power.
Oh, I see.
I always found out he didn't have it on charge.
Gotcha. So he's trying to reconnect with another device. I think, let me see. Let me just look at his character really quick, and we'll see if he has it.
Yeah, I think he got Magus.
So he has a 6A. So yeah, he
Yeah.
could definitely do sorcery. So he's going to have to make a choice. I hope you can still hear us, Chris, because we'll
Just
start
really
with the
hoping that
mysticism.
Dalamar the Dark.
Yeah. Okay, so for the spheres of mysticism, an A code gets to choose 3, a B code gets to use 1, and a C can't cast any spells. So it's either 3 or 1 of these spheres. Animism, which is talk or mimic animals and plants. Alteration, which is shape changing. Channeling, which is adjusting your physical scores. So, giving people a bonus to attack or, defend against physical attacks. Healing, restoring cards or points. Meditation is adjusting mental score. Mentalism is the power of telepathy. Necromancy is very forbidden, so I'm going to kind of keep that off the table. And if you do want to choose it, understand if you use it, it's going to be known by people who know, and that could draw negative attention, which might be interesting for a story, but it's totally up to you.
So you're saying like paladins and cleric carry Jolt are going to come hunting you down?
I don't know, maybe. I don't want to put anything on the table. I'm just saying it is a forbidden art and is only practiced in super, super secret. Sensitivity is reading auras, and spiritualism is talking to spirits or creating undead spirits. So that's like the opposite side of necromancy, dealing with spirits instead of corporeal beings, of bringing them up from the dead. It's more accepted, though it is still sort of a fringe thing. But the point of using these is you can combine them to create interesting types of spells. And so if you look at that quick reference card, you can see the list of those spheres. Just choose the 3 or the 1 that you have based on your code, and you will only be able to cast spells related to that. So make sure you can be creative with, those different spheres that you're going to choose.
Oh, and you can just put them into the second tab under abilities and backgrounds?
Yeah. Yeah, Schools of Magic, yep.
Where that
Oh.
is. Oh, I didn't even
Yeah,
see those
where's-
tabs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the advanced attack and defense have like some basic, advanced sort of different abilities and stuff. Interesting.
He said that we can select 3.
If you have an A code, a 3, yeah.
Yes.
We get to choose 3 of those?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can you say them again?
Oh, here, I'll pull up the quick sheet.
Okay.
And we want to put them under our skills.
So abilities and backgrounds, it actually has Schools of Magic listed there.
Schools of Magic.
Operation.
Okay.
Healing.
Healing, channeling to adjust physical abilities.
Yes, those 3.
Okay, so
Channeling,
alteration,
and
channel.
alteration. Okay.
Uh,
Go back to my screen I was on.
Yep.
And what does sensitivity focus on again? It's like a...
It's auras, reading auras.
Channeling.
There's actually better descriptions here.
This can help you, Mystic, gain information about individual natures and demeanors. Oh, so you can kind of figure out a person's what kind of personality they have. So maybe you can, if it's a black dragon, maybe, I need to placate it and or praise it and make it feel like it's awesome, so that way it won't kill me or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
like him up.
Like if you want to find out someone's like under the power of a spell, that would be one way of doing it.
I'll have to study that one.
So it's getting a little bit
late for my blood.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
actually at this point, I think, gonna bow out.
Okay.
Now that we've got everything squared away, we'll go through and do our equipment and everything like that off screen.
Okay. Well, we can do
the
the combat test another time, and we can just wrap this up with character creation. That would be fine.
Okay.
Is
So
that
I
okay
don't
with everyone else?
cut things short for you guys, but
Yeah,
she
I
has.
apologize. I have to work very early.
I mean, it's not really short. We still went, what, 3
Yeah.
hours?
Okay.
I don't know when we started, 2 hours. So this is a good session 0, I think. Does anyone have any questions or comments before we shut down the game? Okay, anything that you have questions after the fact, shoot me an email or put it as a message in Roll20, and we'll get to it. And we'll figure out when we're going to play the next game at that point as well. I do want to give a quick thank you to everyone who tuned in live and watched this session 0. This gives you a good understanding, basically, of what Saga System is about, how to create a character in Saga System. And we have a pretty varied group, though it's pretty heavy in magic, which is probably going to come in handy. So thank all of you for joining and deciding to play these characters and test out this game for the first time. And thank you all for joining us. If anyone has any social media channels or anything you want to promote right now, feel free.
I would like to.
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah Tay. I go by that. I also go by Ash. And you can follow me on twitch.tv/AshPhoenix, ASHEPHOENIXXX.
Okay. And then feel free to also put that in the comments below if you want to do that.
Okay, I'll do that.
And I'll make sure that it shows up there. Anyone else? Okay. Well, Chris, I'm sorry that you had issues with the power. But next time,
this time.
it was not Kurt. But next time, we'll make sure we're all squared away and it's all good. And we'll just dive in with the adventuring and the killing and murdering and getting killed and murdered. So it'll be a good time. Thank you all once again. I don't know. I do have an outro, but I can't seem to find it. So have a great day, everyone. Until next time. Slanjivar.
Bye.